Hello, Mason, and thank you for joining me for this interview. As I'm sure you're busy with finals and assignments at the moment, how would you say you've been reducing your stress?
I've been reducing my stress by maintaining a good understanding of my assignments and content so I'm mentally and physically prepared, as well as going to the gym.
Good job. It's funny you mention exercise, though, because according to psychology, exercise elicits positive emotions and seems to alleviate certain stressors. Additionally, it is noted that physical activity boasts a boost in mood. What would you say is your predominant form of stress relief?
I'd have to say going to the gym.
That makes sense, because according to this study, participants preferred active forms of leisure rather than passive. Consecutively, it's entirely possible for exercise to provoke a heightened sense of self-esteem. Would you agree?
I would agree. Going to the gym makes me more conscious of my eating habits and keeps me inclined to maintain a healthy weight in order to perform my best.
That's awesome. That makes sense because people who engage in physical exercise may be more likely to engage in other health behaviors such as healthy eating, avoidance of unhealthy food, and deep sleep. Thank you.
Of course, no.
What do you think some of the factors are that put college students at additional risk of stress?
Having to be financially responsible, having to maintain decent grades and keep your scholarship, and adjusting to college life right out of high school.
Studies do say that you are mostly correct on that, especially the financial situation. Would you believe that male, ethnic, religious, and minority groups have a more difficult time reaching out if they're stressed due to the mental health stigma?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Would you also believe that support from your family, friends, and professors would help reduce stress?
100%.
And what about dining hall food? If there were healthier options, do you think that that would help stress and our physical well-being regarding stress?
Yes.
That's good.
What are some strategies that you have used during your first year of college to help you reduce some stressors in your recent life?
So when I get stressed about schoolwork or literally just anything, I like to hang out with friends a lot because it gets my mind off like the certain topic. And when I am with friends, like we'll go on walks or we'll play pickleball, which is really fun. Or I like to work out a lot. So normally if I get stressed, I'll go to the T-Rec for a few hours and just blow off some steam. And then I'm also a religious person, so I'll listen to worship music or go outside and pray and just basic stuff like that.
That's super awesome. Research does actually show that those exact coping strategies, such as physical activity and spending time with your friends and outside, and even some of those religious coping mechanisms that you mentioned, all really benefit stress reduction in university students. So, would you say that being a spiritual person kind of gives you an advantage in those coping skills that you have over some people that are not necessarily spiritual?
I would say yes, because I feel it gives me more opportunities to and it gives me more just chances to relieve my stress because I have another outlet that I can go to, whether that being praying or going to church or whatever it is. I just feel I have more opportunities to relieve stress instead of just basic ways as well.
Research actually does support your ideas because spirituality is linked to a sense of life meaning, and that can help protect against unnecessary stressors that people who are not spiritual necessarily don't have those same coping mechanisms.
Gotcha.
So thanks so much for letting me interview you today.
Thank you for having me.
Hi, I'm Bridget, and today I'm interviewing Savannah, and I'm going to ask her 2 questions. So, what factors do you think increase the stress of college students?
I would say definitely being on your own for the first time and having to figure out everything without a lot of help or guidance from anyone. And also having all your exams at the same time, trying to find housing, trying to figure out what you want to eat for dinner. Just the small things.
Yeah, I think those are major factors. I found that one of the leading factors of stress is actually college students' eating habits. I think that what you eat can really fuel you and prepare you well for the school year. And my next question is, what year do you think college students have the most stress in on average?
I would say freshman year, just trying to figure everything out, find where your classes are, making new friends. You don't really have any friends yet. Things like that.
Yeah, those are all a lot of good factors. In the article that I found called Impacts of Stress on Eating Behaviors Among College Students, they stated that during the transition from high school to university, the failure of college students to adjust to the new environment and associated stressors can lead to negative dietary habits such as excessive alcohol consumption and stress-related overeating. So when college students are able to prioritize exercising and healthy eating habits, they are able to lower their stress levels. This starts by educating students in the classroom on health as well as providing healthy options in school to limit their stress and anxiety. Thank you.
Hey guys, this is Dalton from the group How Does Stress Impact Physical Well-Being Among College Students? I've got my classmate Islam here, and I'm going to ask him this question. So Islam, how, if in your opinion, I know you don't really have any context or data points, but how would you guess that stress impacts college students?
Stress impact college students?
Yeah, what do you think the impacts of stress are?
It's like lack of information in the class and your performance in the exams. Maybe you feel overwhelmed, and sometimes you study hard, but in the exam moment, because you feel stressed, you don't show your real result of your studying. And the sleeping can affect your sleeping quality and quantity. And yeah, this is so far my two things I have faced.
Okay. Man, he actually got most of it. He did a really good job there. Yeah, so, actually, according to the data and according to research, it pretty much unanimously points to the fact that stress, higher levels of stress result in higher levels of negative health effects, such as the ones he mentioned. Reduced sleep quality, reduced sleep duration, lack of eating compared to what you would normally eat. So some people lose weight, other people will gain weight. So it really just affects your eating habits in general. Also, the quality of the food sources that you tend to eat as well. People tend to gravitate more towards snack foods or comfort foods such as sweets rather than whole foods and things that are required like to cook or prepare. Also, higher levels of stress, especially prolonged stress, results in lack of self-care. So people pay less attention to personal hygiene and personal appearance, for example. They begin to care less and less about those things. Overall, the point is, though, that stress has a very big negative impact on college students in all these ways, as well as your grades. Which, you're going to college to get a degree. Islam mentioned that as well. It's a bigger impact than most people would realize. A lot of people tend to think that the effects of stress are pretty minimal and that they can just not worry about it and it's not going to affect them, but it affects everyone. So if you're under stress, make sure to seek out good ways to mitigate that.